The amazing story begins with a very advanced spacecraft, which is carrying several crewmates and a criminal named Jericho. They were on their way to capture him, but due to a malfunction in the spacecraft, it starts heading toward a nearby planet. The planet's gravity pulls the spacecraft towards it, causing it to crash and destroy. Jericho, the criminal, manages to escape, and when the crewmates get out, they can't find him. They become immediately worried. It is revealed that these crew members are not humans but aliens from a different planet. The captain of the crew is named Kars, who is extremely worried because he had captured Jericho with great difficulty. And now, taking advantage of the crash, Jericho has escaped to an unknown location. Kars decides they must find him again at any cost. He gathers his remaining crew members and asks the AI system for help. The AI analyzes everything and suggests that the planet is safe for them, but they should not remove their helmets for a while. As for Jericho, the AI detects his location, saying he has gone 1 kilometer westward, and they can catch him soon. So, Kars, along with his crewmates, sets off to find Jericho on the unknown planet, which is completely deserted with no trees or plants and is full of rocky terrain. After a short while, they spot Jericho, and Kars and his crew start attacking him. Jericho fights back using his advanced gun, but his aiming system is incredibly efficient, and he easily shoots Kars, who falls to the ground. Another alien named Croy, who was with Kars, grabs his gun and follows Jericho, trying to catch him. In the rocky area, Croy spots Jericho hiding behind a rock. Without thinking, Croy attacks the rock, destroying it, but when he approaches, he discovers that it was only Jericho's clothes. Jericho had tricked him and escaped once again. Jericho quickly jumps on Croy from behind, attacking him viciously before escaping once again. An alien named Century arrives and lifts Kars, who is unharmed, but upon seeing Croy's lifeless body, they all become furious. By this time, Jericho has disappeared, meaning he has escaped again. A little later, both aliens remove their helmets, revealing their true forms. Century, feeling puzzled, asks Kars why Jericho is so special. Croy was one of their best soldiers who never gave up, yet Jericho easily outsmarted him and killed him. There must be something extraordinary about Jericho. Century continues questioning Kars about Jericho. Kars, however, doesn't reveal much, suggesting that the information is highly confidential and important. But Century insists, saying that if Kars doesn't share the details about Jericho, he won't follow his commands or take responsibility for completing the mission. Reluctantly, Kars tells Century the truth. Kars reveals that Jericho is not just any alien. He is from a planet that they destroyed many years ago. All the citizens and members of that civilization were wiped out, except for Jericho. He survived and became the most powerful of them all. Now, Jericho wants revenge for the destruction of his civilization. He has a large arsenal of nuclear bombs and advanced weapons, and with them, he plans to destroy Kars and the aliens' planet as part of his revenge. Upon hearing this, Century is shocked. He tells Kars that he should have shared this information earlier, as it would have influenced his decision to bring their best soldiers for the mission. Instead, he had only brought patrol soldiers, who are typically assigned to capture prisoners, not handle a situation as dangerous as this. If they had known all this earlier, so many lives wouldn't have been lost. This realization causes an argument between Captain Kars and Century. Both are too preoccupied with their own thoughts, unaware that Jericho is watching them from a distance. Jericho pulls out a highly advanced weapon and fires it directly at Captain Kars, killing him on the spot. However, Century, being extremely fast, manages to escape and take cover in a safe spot. Now furious at Jericho for killing many of his teammates, Century decides to hunt him down. Using his intelligence, he hides as he moves through the mountainous terrain to avoid being seen. Century contacts his AI system to track Jericho's location so he can attack. The AI informs him that Jericho is not far away and is stationary in one spot, not moving at all. This information makes Century pause, but he decides to follow the location and soon reaches the spot. There, Century finds a tracking device that was once in Jericho's body, realizing that Jericho had tricked him by removing the device. Suddenly, Jericho emerges from behind a rock and attacks Century. Century doesn't even get a chance to retaliate, as Jericho badly injures him. As a result, Century is forced to remove his helmet, and that's when a shocking truth is revealed. Jericho is not an alien, but a human. He's been seeking revenge against these aliens for a long time. Jericho first takes all of Century's resources and weapons, knowing he will need them on his journey. He then puts his helmet back on and moves forward. After a while, when Century regains consciousness, he realizes that all his resources and weapons are gone, obviously stolen by Jericho. Century's remaining team members have either been killed or severely wounded. Thus, Century, not wanting to wait for the others, moves forward to capture Jericho. Without his weapons, he wonders how he will possibly fight Jericho. After walking for a while, Jericho, exhausted, sits down. He opens the bag that Century had stolen, checking out the weapons inside. One gun catches his attention, and when he fires it, instead of bullets, strange waves shoot out. These waves are far more powerful than normal bullets and can cause significant damage to even the strongest enemies. Along with the weapons, Jericho also finds a communication device that connects to the AI system of the aliens. As Jericho attempts to access the AI system, it shuts down temporarily due to unauthorized access. The AI, however, informs Century about Jericho's attempt and also provides him with Jericho's location. Armed with this new information, Century begins following the coordinates, determined to catch Jericho in the act. Jericho, being crafty, hides behind a mountain, keeping a close watch on Century. After a short while, Century reaches the peak of the mountain, where Jericho stands, both of them armed. Jericho, thinking he has taken all the weapons, assumes Century has none left. However, Century surprises Jericho by pulling out a fake weapon from inside his body and firing it at him. Jericho is injured, and quickly retreats behind the mountain to hide. Both are now equally injured. Century's spacecraft had already caused him some injuries, and now Jericho is also wounded. Both of them have communication devices, so they start talking to each other. Through their conversation, we learn that all the planets in the universe, the civilizations on these planets wanted to dominate other planets, leading to conflicts between various civilizations. This wasn't just a world war. It was a planet war being fought across different civilizations. Earth, with its abundant resources, became a target for many other civilizations, and humans accepted them into their society. However, Century's alien civilization was far more powerful and refused to bow to the humans. So, Century's civilization began attacking humans on Earth. The attack was so devastating that humans were killed on a massive scale, and Earth was destroyed. Jericho was one of the few survivors who managed to escape and shift to another planet. He now knows who his enemies are and which civilizations were responsible for the destruction of Earth. He is determined to take revenge. Century and the rest of the crew believe that Jericho, with his nuclear missiles, intended to take revenge and destroy their planet in the same way. This is why they were trying to capture him and take him as a prisoner. At this point, Century threatens Jericho, telling him to surrender quickly or he will have no hesitation in ending his life. Jericho, however, doesn't think much of the threat. He is highly skilled and knows how to survive in any condition. Without saying a word, he escapes, knowing that the weapons he has are enough for his protection. After a while, when there's no response from Jericho, Century realizes he's gone. So, Century steps out of his hiding place and moves to a higher position, hoping to spot Jericho. But Jericho had vanished again. Century noticed that Jericho had left the AI system behind, not taking it with him, even though it could have been extremely useful. The AI system, now left behind, began responding to Century, giving him a better understanding of what Jericho wanted. It advised Century to proceed in a certain way to capture Jericho. The AI system was capable of analyzing situations and guiding users on the best decisions to make, especially in critical conditions. Following the AI's guidance, Century started taking action. Meanwhile, not too far away, Jericho was moving forward when suddenly an arrow struck him. This was a tranquilizer dart shot by a different alien named Sneak. Sneak, upon seeing Jericho, realized that this was the human the civilizations were looking for, with a huge reward placed on his capture. Sneak thought that if he captured Jericho and handed him over to the other civilizations, he would be rewarded with many resources. So, Sneak knocked Jericho out and moved in to kill him. However, just then, Century arrived, determined not to let Sneak succeed. If Sneak captured Jericho, all the credit would go to him, and Century had worked too hard to let that happen. So, a fierce battle broke out between Century and Sneak. They became so focused on their fight that they forgot about Jericho for a moment. Taking advantage of the situation, Jericho managed to escape. Century quickly subdued Sneak and then chased after Jericho, eventually catching up with him. When Jericho regained consciousness, he found himself imprisoned. Sitting in front of him was Century, waiting for his rescue ship to arrive. Jericho knew that Century planned to take him aboard his ship and hand him over to his superiors. Century threatened Jericho, demanding that he reveal the location of the nuclear ship, the one that Jericho intended to use to destroy their planet. If Jericho didn't comply, Century warned that he would kill him right there. But Jericho, being clever, responded that they couldn't kill him, because he knew the location of the nuclear technology that could destroy their planet and civilization. He pointed out that as long as he was alive, they couldn't touch him. Jericho was deeply hurt by the situation. Realizing that these aliens were willing to kill him to save their planet and civilization, yet they had no consideration for the destruction of Earth and humanity that had already happened. Jericho still mourned the loss of his family and felt that vengeance was necessary. However, Century tried to explain that this wasn't their fault. He spoke about the ongoing conflicts between planetary systems where each civilization tried to dominate the other. Century revealed that he also had a family, and he was willing to do anything to protect them. He couldn't bear to watch his own family perish. Hearing this, Jericho remembered the devastation of Earth. He realized that the situation was very similar. At that time, he had no option to save Earth, but now Century and his people had a chance to prevent their planet's destruction. Jericho, feeling a shift in his emotions, finally apologized to Century. He promised to send the location of the nuclear bombs and weapon systems to Century's control center. But he asked for access to the AI system in return. Century, now trusting Jericho, granted him the access to the AI, believing he could now stop the impending destruction of their world. Jericho quickly provided the location to Century's control center, where he had hidden all the details about the spaceship and nuclear bombs. Within no time, a team from Century's control center was dispatched, and they went straight to the location to destroy the spaceship and eliminate the entire system. With that, the alien civilization no longer had to fear. However, soon after, Century received a call from his superiors. Jericho had outlived his usefulness, and now he had to be killed. Century, following his duty as a soldier, pulled out a knife and advanced toward Jericho. Jericho, with a smirk, asked why he was going to be killed after helping them. Century, sticking to his principles, explained that soldiers must always follow their leader's orders, no matter what. But Jericho, with a twist of fate, revealed the truth. He told Century that the spaceship he had given the location of was actually a decoy. It was a faulty ship, and there was nothing valuable inside. Jericho had hidden all the important resources on a safe spot on the planet, and if they killed him, they would never find out the truth or the location of those assets. Jericho had tricked them all, setting up a situation where he would gain the upper hand. Century, realizing this, was too late to react as Jericho swiftly disarmed him and knocked him unconscious. Jericho knew the rescue team would be arriving soon, but that gave him just enough time to loot Century's resources and escape. As the rescue team arrived and found Century lying unconscious, Jericho had already set a trap for them. Many of the aliens in the rescue team fell victim to it, losing their lives. Jericho, now in possession of valuable information and resources, left the area. He had an important task to complete, and his escape from the situation left Century's team in chaos, with no one to tell them the truth about what had really happened. Jericho had already killed all the crew members of the rescue team and left Century bound and unconscious. When Century regained consciousness, he found himself surrounded by the lifeless bodies of his team. Enraged and determined, he quickly freed himself and set off to chase after Jericho. Meanwhile, Jericho had not only taken all of Century's weapons but also had access to the AI system containing all the critical information. With this, Jericho headed to a new location, where he opened a hidden tunnel in the ground. This was no ordinary tunnel. It led to a nuclear spaceship capable of destroying entire planets. Jericho was now in control of this powerful technology and intended to use it to destroy the very civilizations responsible for the destruction of Earth. Jericho's mission was clear. He would take revenge on Century's people and make them pay for what they did to Earth. As Jericho activated the spaceship, Century quickly grabbed a sniper rifle from his crew and aimed at Jericho, but he missed. Jericho had already entered the spaceship and launched into the sky. Now in command of the most dangerous weapon in the galaxy, Jericho's next move was to locate Century's home planet. He turned to the AI system for help but quickly realized something had gone wrong. The chip that held the crucial data had been removed. It turned out that Century had already anticipated this moment and removed the chip before their confrontation. The AI system had predicted this scenario, and now Jericho found himself unable to retrieve the information he needed. Enraged, Jericho cursed his luck. He had been outsmarted by Century. However, this moment also made Century reflect on the bigger picture. Despite his role in the destruction of Earth, he understood Jericho's anger and thirst for revenge. The realization hit him hard, that the horrors Jericho had faced were beyond comprehension, and the revenge he sought was, in a way, justified. Jericho was now left without the information he needed, but his journey of vengeance was far from over. Jericho had many families and civilizations on Earth, which is why after thinking a lot, Century finally tells Jericho the location of their planet. Century says that something wrong happened to you, so you will decide how you want to take revenge on us. If destroying our planet gives you happiness, then destroy it, and if you do so, both of us will be the last members of our civilizations. Century tells Jericho that after destroying it, he should definitely come and meet him, as he wants to discuss something important about creating a whole new civilization. As soon as Jericho got the location, he immediately took his spaceship and reached there. The aliens' planet was red in color, and it turned out that it was Mars, where the aliens had established their civilization. Similarly, many other planets in our solar system also have alien civilizations. Jericho knew that after destroying this alien civilization, there would still be other civilizations that might try to attack us, and this is why he might change his mind and not destroy this planet. However, Jericho was determined to take revenge in the end. Now, what happened next, and whether he destroyed the planet or not, we will find out in part 2. The possibility is higher that Jericho will not destroy the planet because he is human, and humans think carefully before doing anything. Jericho must have thought positively for all the civilizations. And our sci-fi story ends here.